Hello, students. So, welcome to this session on grammar. We are doing the extra mile in English RC, but I have also included one session on grammar, and this is going to be a longish session because I am going to discuss some common rules of grammar. And hence this video can be around 50 minutes or 1 hour long also. So let us see. So our session objective is to look at the common rules in grammar. So what we will be doing is we will be looking through these few things. What are subject verb agreement and the rules of subject verb agreement, pronouns, articles, prepositions, and modifiers. These are the some of the common topics that you can expect in the competitive exam. Now I understand that in both CLAT and ALET, you don't expect that many questions on grammar. Yeah, a couple of years back, CLAT did have the question on grammar, but as per the last year's format, there were not enough questions on grammar, not any question on in grammar actually. But that doesn't mean they cannot ask. And if they ask the question, it will be this is a very scoring part, right? And the other thing to consider is that you will also be taking some other entrance exams in which this can be useful. So I thought of including this in the session plan. Right. So before we move, the most important and the basic building block of entire grammar, rule number one on parts of speech. So that's our rule number one. We are going to discuss parts of speech. So I'm sure that you all must have read it in your school, and most of you would be very comfortable in this. But just for the sake of revision, part of speech are the building blocks of grammar. They are broadly defined categories of words which help in the formation of a sentence. So for sentence formation, part of the speech is very, very important. There are 8 parts of the speech. Of course, the first is the noun. So nouns are the words used for naming people, place, or things. So here are a couple of examples, and all the underlined words, if you see, they are the noun. George defeated Jacob in a thrilling match in the court last evening. So these are all nouns. Talking is prohibited in my class. Now, this is interesting. So many people will say that this is verb, right? But this is used as a noun here. Talking is not as an action, but it has been talked as an activity, right? That is prohibited in the class. Similarly, I will give you another example. The smoking is injurious to health. Here also, word smoking is a noun and not a verb, because you are here you what when you are saying smoking, you are not confining yourself to the the act of smoking. You are defining the entire activity, right? Cooking is my favorite hobby. So here also cooking is a noun, right? So you are defining it as a hobby. So this is a noun. So that is something that you need to understand. Now our schools, I'm not blaming every school, but most of the school students, they say that whenever we use ing, it becomes verb. So I specifically kept it as an example. It is not necessary. Another few thing that the schools have taught, uh, for example, what is use of comma? So people tell that when we take pause, but I mean that's so vague, such a vague thing when we take a pause. So a comma has several roles to play. All right. So here also in parts of a speech, what you need to understand is that if a question comes on identifying the part of a speech, don't try to muck up the word. Try to understand what role the word is playing. Right. So, by what I mean by what role the word is playing, for example, talking here, what role is that playing? It is something about which the entire sentence is. So that's the role. Let us see other examples, and I will come back to this. Pronouns are word used to replace a noun. So, what are pronouns? They are words to replace a noun. For example, this is very simple. Adjectives are the word that add to describe or qualify a noun. So simply adjectives are something that tells me something about noun. So for example, that little mouse scared the big dog with its clever ploy. Look, here mouse is a noun, but little gives me extra information about it. Dog is a noun and big gives me extra information about it. Ploy is a noun and clever. gives me extra information about it, right? So adjective is something that describes a noun. Similarly, the second example. All right. So once again, let me give you another example. Okay. So I write like this. Black is my favorite color. What will you say is a noun here? Or what is black here? Black is a noun, right? Black is my favorite color. Now I write another sentence. I am wearing a black shirt. What is black here? Here, black is an adjective. So that is what I meant when I said that do not try to mug up the words that black means noun, black means noun. You need to understand what role is it playing. So in the second sentence, black is giving me information about the noun shirt. So that's why it is adjective. Verbs, we all know what are verbs. Verbs are the words that expresses an action that we all know, but we also need to understand that either action or a state of being. A state of being means where the words like is, has, these are all telling me what is the state of being, what is the state of something that is being talked about. So this is important. Adverbs are the verbs that modify verbs, adjectives, and other adverbs. Most of the people do not understand this. So verbs are adjectives are something that tell me about noun. Adverbs are something that tell me about verb, adjective, or itself, right? It modifies a verb, it modifies an adjective, or it modifies some other adverb. We can recognize adverbs by their function, form, and position in a sentence. Let us see. He sings melodiously. So sings is a verb here, and melodiously tells me about how he sings. So this is an adverb. An ill-tempered person is seldom happy. So once again, if you see, an ill-tempered person is seldom happy, right? So he here seldom is giving me information about happy, right? So Anita is more intelligent than her sister Rita. Anita is more intelligent. So here, if you see, intelligent is an adjective, right? So if I am giving you extra information about adjective, that is also a adverb. So more word here is an adverb. It gives me information about intelligent. Next, prepositions. Prepositions are words that govern a noun or a pronoun and describe how the objects denoted by noun or a pronoun are related to one another. Very simple. Prepositions are something that tells me the location, the place of a particular noun. So the old man sat on the porch and ate his meal with relish. So on, right? Conjunctions are used to join clause, sentence, or words. So we all know that words like and, or, despite, although, these are all conjunctions. Next is interjections. So interjections are used to express sudden feeling. However, they have no real grammatical value. We often use them more while speaking than in writing. So these are some of the parts of speech. Okay, the second rule, subject, object, and predicate. So the second foundation of grammar is subject, object, and predicate. If you are not good at identifying what subject is, what object, and what predicate is, then you will suffer in lot of the topics. Now, before I proceed, let me tell you, according to me, now I am not someone who is, English literature teacher or a grammar teacher, right? But according to me, if I look at the things the way I deal with, or any sentence can be classified using two things, parts of his speech, right? So if every word in a sentence will belong to some part of his speech, say it as noun or adjective, adverb, whatever. Similarly, all the words in a sentence can also be classified whether it is part of a subject or predicate or object. So according to me, this can be done. I can be wrong, but I'm only talking from the point of view of examination. True grammar wise, I can be wrong, but I don't care that. I care that I should understand a topic like grammar, which my school teachers were unable to teach me properly. So I have that big regret that throughout my school, all on the only thing I learned was articles and some basic rules of nouns and nothing. What's the logic behind it? So I am a logical reasoning teacher, so I try to look at the logic of the things. I may be wrong, but this can be another way to classify, according to me, a sentence. So each sentence will have a subject and a predicate, and it can also have object. So let us look what subject, object, and predicate are. First is subject. Subject is the doer of in the sentence. So about whom the sentence is, the doer in the sentence. It talks about what is happening and who is doing it. So for example, Catherine walked her dog. So what is happening here is walked. So this is a verb, right? Now who is doing that? That will be the subject, Catherine. So ask yourself, what is happening in the sentence? And once you get what is happening, ask the next question. Who is doing that? That who is your subject. Subject is a compulsory part of the sentence. Now, it is not necessary that subject will always be a person. It can also be an idea. Next is predicate. Predicate is usually the verb. This is also a compulsory part of the sentence. So, in Catherine walked her dog, walked is the verb. Next is the object. Now, who is the object? Object is the receiver of the action done by the subject. So, subject is doing some action, which we are calling as verb. Who is receiving that action? Who is the receiver of that action? That is object. So, object is not the compulsory part of the sentence. For example, I could have written this sentence is Catherine walked. Simple. Nobody is receiving the action of Catherine. Nobody is receiving her action, which is walked, right? So even this is grammatically fine, right? So another example is the pen is lying. All right. So this is grammatically correct. There is no object here. Subject is pen and predicate is lying. However, I can add on the table. So here table becomes the object, right? So I am saying object is not the compulsory part of the sentence. Now, rules of subject verb agreement. So the basic rule or the basic principle says that there should be an agreement between the subject of the sentence and its verb. That is, singular subject should take singular verb and plural subject should take plural verb. That is the basic rule of subject verb agreement. Singular subject should take singular verb and plural subject should take plural verb. First, let us understand how to identify the subject. Identification of wrong subject leads to several mistakes, like wrong form of verb being associated with it, wrong case of pronoun associated with it. How to identify the subject? There are two steps to it. Locate the verb, ask who is doing that verb. Just now I have explained. These are some of the examples. So just look at them. The carpet in the living room must be vacuumed. So this what is the subject in this sentence? So firstly, question, what is happening? Right? What is the action that is being done? Vacuum. That is the verb. What is being vacuumed or who is doing that? So there is no who here. There is what. What is being vacuumed? Carpet. So carpet is the subject of the sentence. Similarly, the example number 2. Let us look at the example number 3. So you can read the example number 2. The issue at hand is your happiness. Now here there is no action verb, but here there is a different kind of verb which I called as state of being, helping verb. So it is the verb here is. This is an example of subject being something. And what is that subject? What is that subject being something? The subject here is issue. So the subject is issue. The issue at hand is your happiness. Next, the purpose of the session is to teach you basics. Once again, the verb here is, and is telling me the being of purpose. So that is why purpose is the subject here. Now, let us look at the rules. You can mark your answers, whatever you feel like. What will come here? Everyone selected to serve on this jury have to be willing to give up a lot of time. Each of the boys is are dancing. Just mark your answers. I will just move on. So the first one, the correct answer is has, because everyone is singular subject referring to each individual. Now many students do mark have here, but no. What is the subject here? Subject here is everyone selected on this jury. So it is everyone, every single person. In the second one, each of the boys. is ya are dancing. Once again, answer is, because the subject here is not boys, but each boy. Okay, so look at the subject, which is each boy and not boys. So this is important. Write down this rule, or revise this rule time and again. The indefinite pronoun anyone, everyone, someone, no one, nobody, each, they are always singular and therefore require singular verbs. Important to understand this. Next rule, use of either or in two singular subjects. So when two singular subjects are connected by either or neither nor, or simply or, what's going to happen? Neither Ram nor Rahim is going to play for India or are going to play for India. Right? So you can look at each of the example. Let me discuss what's the answer. In all of the above, the subject is singular and hence the verb will take singular form. So whenever we talk about either or, neither nor, or, the two subjects, the two singular subject, important thing to understand is the two singular subjects connected by these words, they require singular verb, right? And singular verb is and has, these are singular verbs, right? So they will take singular verb. What is plural verb is are, have, was, were. This is singular, this is plural. Another example that I will like to give you here is in the case of verb, in the case of verb, the words with s, the verbs with s, they are singular in nature, and without s is plural in nature. So plays is singular and play is plural. Sings is singular and sing is plural. Just remember, this is something we are talking with respect to verbs, right? Plays, play, sings, sing. This is something we are talking with respect to verb, not with respect to noun. Noun is something else. So this rule is completely opposite. Simply just look at it. What will you use with he or she? He play cricket or he plays cricket? You will definitely use plays. So he is singular, plays is singular. Similarly, what will you use with they? They is plural. So they plays cricket or they play cricket. So it will always be they play cricket. Right? So two singular subjects connected by either or neither nor require a singular verb. I have told you what do we mean by singular and plural verb also. You must have understood this example. Use of either or in one singular and one plural subject. So right now we have seen that when two singular subjects are connected by using either or. In this question, we are looking at one singular subject and one plural subject. So this is singular, one is, and this one is plural. Plural and singular. Then what's going to happen? The book or the pens dash in the bag. The pens or the book dash in the bag. So let me tell you, there are two different answers here. In the first one, it will be were. In the second one, it is was. Let us see why. The answer to first example is were, because verb has to be placed closer to a plural subject, pens. In the second example, though the meaning remains the same, the verb assumes singular form because of the singular subject near it. So what is happening here is that whatever whatever form, I mean, you need to look at where you need to place the verb. If you are placing the verb near a plural subject, verb will take plural form. If you are placing it near singular subject, verb will take singular form. A very important rule for you to understand from the point of view of exam. Rule number 7, use of both and. Both the teacher and disciples, obviously, very simple, were there. In case of words, both the words connected using and are subject and hence verb will be plural. So it doesn't matter when the word, when we are connecting you anything using and or both. Remember, and or both, when we are using any two subjects, whether they are singular or plural, it doesn't matter. Verb will always be plural. Verb will always be plural. So in case of words both and the both the words, or I should say both the subjects connected using and are the subject, and hence verb will be plural. So we don't need to consider whether the subjects are singular or plural. If connected by and, we will use plural. Very simple. You anyways know it, so don't get confused by it. But I have intentionally kept it here because the next rule is important to understand with respect to this rule. That is use of as well as. Remember the last rule. What is the difference between as well as and both and that's what we are going to understand here. Let us see. The teacher as well as disciples dash here, was here or were here. What will you use? Captain along with the team was present or were present. Whatever you have marked, let us see. In both the cases, right, the answer is singular. It will be was, it will be was. The teacher as well as disciples was here. Captain along with the team was present. Let us see why. Okay. Now phrases such as together with, as well as, and along with. Three phrases. Together with, as well as, and along with. They are not same as and. The phrase introduced by as well as or along with will modify the earlier subject, but it does not compound the subject as the word and does. As the word and does, and hence the verb use should be singular. So please understand, these three words, they are simply modifying the earlier subject. So whatever the earlier subject is, verb will be in accordance with that. The earlier subject here is singular, so verb was singular. The earlier subject was plural, so sorry, singular, so verb is again singular in the second one as well. But what happens in the case of and is that and compounds the subject. Compounds the subject means whatever is comes at the two side of and, both are subject. But in the case of as well as and along with, that's not the case. So how to solve this question? Very simple. What you need to understand is that simply rub this and read. The teacher was here or were here. You will always say the teacher was here, right? So whatever follows along with, just erase it from the sentence and see what you are going to put. Captain was present or captain were present. That's it. That's your answer. Use of collective noun. Interesting. So why don't you attempt these two questions and then check? All right. So in the first example, jury will be treated as a singular subject. The word unanimous itself suggests that the collective and singular decision has been taken. In the second example, the talk is on division among the jury and noun sounds plural. Hence, verb will take plural form. In the first, it is and in the second, it is are. So almost all these students get this wrong. So please remember, very important. There are times when collective noun is not no more collective in nature. It becomes in parts, like in the second example. So as you can see from the logic of the second, the jury, which is a collective noun, has been is divided now. So if the jury is divided now, even when I speak, the natural thing that is coming out from from my in my languages is, but that is wrong. That's how we commit mistake. It's okay when you speak, but if it comes in the exam, we all need to understand that when we are talking about jury, and if jury and we are talking about the parts of jury, then it has to be plural. The right usage for me to speak would have been, in the first case the jury is unanimous, and in the second case the jury are divided. That is the right way to use it, and the rule is given below, so please note it down. This can come in the exam. Next, countable versus uncountable. What will you use? A high percentage of the students is are against price hike, and a high percentage of the student union is are against price hike. Let us see. The answer to the first question is are, and the second two is. So why? A high percentage is the mathematical expression representing plural countable subject, and the student make it countable. In the second blend, answer is because a high percentage is mathematical student expression, but the student union is a lump sum quantity, a single quantity. I will tell you in another words what you need to look at. In case of any mathematical expression, for example, had it not been high percentage, let me write majority of the students dash. Had it been majority, even then answer would have been R. Why so? Just look at it. Whatever follows of, whatever follows of, you need to focus on that. If whatever follows of is signifying something, of is signifying students here. So students is plural countable. If it is plural countable, verb will take plural form. If it is plural countable, verb will take plural form, right? And let me give you another example. Union. Now, in this case, of is signifying student union, which is a collective noun in this case. So that is why it will be is. Got it? So that's a simple thing for us to understand. Following the same rule on countable versus uncountable, an interesting question. Rahul is one of those students who is are willing to work hard. Many people will put is here, but the right answer is are, because the subject is not Rahul, but those students. Rahul is just an example of those students. The verb will take plural form. Please remember, right? So please remember this, a common mistake. Rahul is one of those students who are always willing to work hard is right, not Rahul who is willing to work hard, because the subject here is those students and not Rahul. Now let us look at rules of pronoun. But before I move, please have this table in your mind. Right? Very, very important table. Please spend some time on this table to understand. Let me explain you one table. These are the cases of pronoun. I will explain you the singular form, and then you can understand the remaining. So what I have done is I have classified it into three columns: subject, possessive, and object, not predicate. Remember, possessive, and three rows: first person, second person, third person. So what we are trying to understand here is that if I am talking about first person means myself. If I'm talking about myself and I am the subject, then I will use form I. If I'm talking about first person and if and I'm talking about something which I possess, I will use my or mine. If I'm talking about myself, but I'm the object, I'm receiving something. You gave this pen to me, so I'm the receiver here. So I will use the case me. Similarly, for the second person, it doesn't matter whether you are part of subject or object, I will use you. Third person, singular. If we are talking about someone else and that person is part of the subject, we will use he, she, or it. If we are talking about the possession of that person, his, her, or hers, its. And if that person is receiving someone else's action, then it will be him, her, or it. Similarly, for the plural. So I ka plural is we, my mind ka plural is our, ours, me ka plural is us. So this is a simple table for you to understand. I really doubt that how many of us have learned it in such a simplified manner, the tabular form. Now you will be able to appreciate why this table is important in my coming slides. Okay, so which of the two is right? What will you use with you? Whether you will use I or me. So let me tell you, you can use both, but it depends on what you are trying to convey. You and I or me we were playing tennis. You and me were playing tennis, or you and I were playing tennis. Which of the two is right? Grandfather left you and I his book, or grandfather left you and me his book. So what do you feel? Which of the two is right? Let us see. The answer to first one is I, and the second one is me. Right? So answer to the first one is I, second is me. Why? Because in the first sentence, you and I are part of the subject. So the sentence is about both of us. Now, because we are part of the subject, pronoun will take the subject form. In the second sentence, we are receiving the action of grandfather. We are part of the object. And that's why object form me will be used. Now, if you go back to the previous table and if you see the second person is in both subject and object form you. So that is where the confusion arises, right? But in the first person, the form changes I and me. So that's what we are saying. Okay, so what is going to happen here? Right now, had this be a question like this, Suresh and me will go to movie. Here also the answer would have been I, because both Suresh and I, the sentence is about both of us. Now, because we are the subject, it will take subject form. So very simple to understand which case of pronoun to use. This is the rule. This is the rule, right? You and I, me are part of the subject, and hence subject form of the first person will come. In the second sentence, you and I, me are part of the object, as we are receiving an action done by the subject grandfather. So what is the rule here? In case of two nouns and pronouns, in case the two pronouns are used as the subject, use the subject form of pronouns. In case the two noun pronouns are used as the object, use the object form of the pronoun. Very simple. But in the exam, this is how you need to look at. This is important. Another way to solve the questions to behave as if the other person does not exist. That is, you does not exist. Then how will you read it? First sentence. You and I were playing tennis. I am saying behave as if you was not there. So how will you read it? Me were playing tennis. Yeah, I mean, it won't be were, but me was playing tennis or I was playing tennis. Obviously, I. Similarly, in the second sentence, grandfather left dash his book. Grandfather left me. Grandfather left his book with me. So it will be me in the second sentence. So I was playing tennis is right. Me was playing tennis is wrong. So very simple. Now, when a noun and pronoun are put together, for example, the first one, let us look at. We, as students, are demanding that the administration give us 2 hours for lunch. The administration has managed to put us or we students in a bad situation. So, what's going to come? What do you think? So, rule is when a pronoun and noun are combined, which will happen with the plural first and the second person pronoun. Remember this. Choose the case of the pronoun that would be appropriate if the noun were not there. So what it is trying to say is that when a pronoun is combined with a noun, which will happen with the plural first and the second person pronoun. So plural first and the second person pronoun. What you should do is behave as if the noun was not existing. Behave as if the noun was not existing. Right? Now, what will you say? We are demanding, yeah, us are demanding. Obviously, we are demanding. In the second case, what will you say? The administration has managed to put we in a bad situation. Yeah, the administration has managed to put us in a bad situation. Obviously, you will say us. So very simple. When a pronoun is preceding a noun, behave as if the noun was not existing and put the case of the pronoun that you would have anyways done. Yeah, another way to understand is that we here are part of subject and here we are part of object. So if we are part of object, then us is going to be, we are going to use us. Next, renaming a noun. The two people in charge of symposium, Mickey and I or me, will help pay for the damage. Excuse me. Nobody in the auditorium, not even he or him, expected that the riot would break out. Right? Great grandmother left her money to her favorite people, Jai and I or me. Very simple. In the first sentence, the right form is I, and in the second sentence, right form is he, and in the third, right form is me. Why? Very simple. Because what is happening here is that we are renaming the two people in charge of the symposium. So the two people in charge of the symposium, the two people are the subject. And here we are simply renaming them, Mickey and I. So we are part of the subject. Similarly, in the second one, nobody in the auditorium, we are talking about that nobody in the auditorium, not even, so this person is a part of the subject, nobody. So he agrees with the subject, nobody. In the third one, great grandmother left her money to her favorite people. So we are now renaming the two receivers, great grandfather to her favorite people, Jai and I or me. So the right answer here will be the object form me. While renaming something that function as a subject, the pronoun should take the subject form. If renaming something that function as an object, the pronoun must take object form. So that's the simple rule. All right. Next is cases after linking verbs. So as what will be the case after linking verbs? Is, was, it is him or it is he. It was I who answered your call, or it was me who answered your call. This is he speaking, yeah, this is him speaking. Let me tell you, I won't be surprised if all of you get it wrong. Okay. So in both the sentence, subject form will come. So the right answer are he and I. So here it is he, here it is I. This is wrong. And I won't be surprised if in the second question you would have said it was me who answered your call. Similarly, in the third also it is he. This is he is speaking and not this is him is speaking. Why? Because in both the subject form will come, right? Why subject form will come? The rule is simple. In such sentence, look at which case subject or object has to be put. Now, why? What are we trying to say? Okay, it is him or he. If I put it as him, please understand. This becomes a sentence without any subject, and a sentence can't be without any subject. Him is an object form. Go back and check the table. Him is the object form. So this can't be the right answer. It is he. And again, another way to look at it is, okay. So whenever you ask yourself a question, if your question is coming in the form of who, so uh, it is him or it is he, right? So what we are going to what you need to understand is ask yourself a question. If the question is framed in the form of who, use the subject form. If the question is framed in the form of whom, that is the object form, right? So who or whom. Now, let me elaborate more. So, how will you ask who is it or whom is it? Simple. You are going to ask who is it. Now, because you are asking who is it, the answer is it is he. Who is a subject form. And if to answer the subject form, answer should be given in the subject form. It is he. For the second sentence, what kind of question will you frame? Whom answered your call or who answered your call? Right? Of course, you will be saying who answered your call. So if your question is who answered your call, answer should be in the subject form. It was I who answered your call, or it was he who answered your call, or it was she who answered your call, because the question is in the form of who. This is he speaking or this is him speaking. What is the right form? Ask the question. Who is speaking or whom is speaking? It is who is speaking now. Because it is who is speaking, this is he. It will be the right form. So to deal with such cases, what I am saying is ask the question to which this sentence will be the answer. Ask the question to which this sentence will be the answer. That will give you the correct answer. If the question you are asking to this sentence is in the form of who, use the subject form. If the question you are asking is in the form of whom, use the object form. Use of as and then, again something which many students commit mistake. So in the first one the answer is she, and in the second one answer is I. This is wrong. Her and me are wrong. Now if you mentally complete the sentence, we would say it's not. Trans. Rahul is as smart as she is. Therefore, she is the correct answer. Again, completing the second sentence, we have Joe is taller than I am. So mentally complete the second sentence. Now, rule to decide whether to use subject or object pronoun after the word then or as, mentally complete the sentence. Mentally complete the sentence. Another way to look at it, here the subject is Rahul. And if I am comparing Rahul, I should compare it with subject form. So subject ka comparison subject se. Subject का comparison subject से, object का comparison object से. That is something that we need to remember. Use of between and let. Between you and I, Yami, you will do better. So please remember, word between is a word between is a preposition. Similarly, word let is also a preposition, and preposition always takes the object form. In fact, you know, the role of preposition in the sentence is that preposition introduces the object in a sentence. Preposition introduces an object in a sentence, right? So always preposition के बाद follow the object form. So here the right answer is me. Between you and me, you will do better. I think if it's clear, had it been let you and me, right? So simply behave as if you was not existing and then say, let me decide. Okay. Next, use of which versus use of that. The building which that I was telling you is just around the corner. My new books which that have black covers are on the desk. What are you going to use? So let us see. That is used to indicate a specific object, item, person, condition, etc. While which is used to add information to objects, item, people, situations, etc. Because which indicates a non-restrictive optional clause, it is usually set off by commas, which at the end of the clause. So what we are trying to say is that if the clause is if I'm giving the information which is compulsory part of a sentence, which means restrictive in nature. This is what we mean by restrictive. So the building which or that I was telling you is just around the corner. Now this is compulsory part of the sentence. Without this part, the sentence won't make sense. If I have to use it before compulsory part of the sentence, then I should use that. That is a restrictive word. In the second case, my new books, which or that have black covers are on the desk. Now here, this is additional information. Without this additional information, also the sentence would have been fine. My new books are on the desk. Absolutely fine. So in such case where I'm using something which is not compulsory part of the sentence, which we call as non-restrictive clause. Non-restrictive clause. It is not restricting the grammatical flow of the sentence, then the word which will be used. Next rule on articles. Very simple. Articles can be classified as indefinite and definite. A and N are the indefinite articles and they modify noun in generic sense, referring any member of the class. The is the definite article and it refers to a specific noun. This is used before both singular and plural noun. So you all know this definition. So, but some interesting rules, which of the two is right? The actor and dancer is here. Yeah, the actor and dancer are here. And even in the second one, which of the two is right? I am going to school. Yeah, I am going to the school. So both are correct in the first one. In A, two adjectives are talking about the same noun. The actor and dancer, there are two adjectives. They are talking about same person. Now, because there is one person, we are using verb is, right? So the actor and dancer both are both the adjectives refer to one person. The actor and the dancer are here. This is also right because here we are talking about two different people, the actor and the dancer. So that is an important usage of article. If we, the number of times we place it in front of adjective, that means we are talking about different people. So another example which I will give you is, I have a black and white car. And second one, I have a black and a white car. Now, in the first place, I have only one car and the color of that car is black and white. In the second case, I have two cars. One is black in color and one is white in color. So that is the significance of article. Articles tell me how many people are we talking about, whether we are talking about one person with different adjectives or we are talking about multiple people here. So I hope you have got this one, what I'm trying to convey. Second, also both are correct. In A, school is used as a place of primary purpose, and a student going to school will say such statement. In B, school is used as a place of secondary purpose, and someone who goes to school for a purpose which is not primary will say such a statement. Parents going for PTM, a bus driver, they will say, I'm going to the school. Strange language, but that is how it is. Similarly, is the usage of universities, temple, or any other place which has some primary purpose of establishment. So if you are going to a primary purpose of establishment for that primary activity, then do not use the article, else use the article. That's the difference. Okay. Okay, now next, preposition of movement, to and at. To and at have a cause and effect relationship. Which of the two is right? I arrived to work or I arrived at work. So arrival at a place is because of going to it. So it is always at. I arrived at work, right? So you left for a place, that's why you arrived at it. So at is the right usage. We use to in order to express movement towards a particular place. I am driving to work. Yeah, this is right. You are moving towards a particular direction, then you use to. But if you have arrived at a particular place, that's how you use it. Preposition of time, for and since, very easy. India has been independent for, yes, since 55 years. The Indian and Pakistanis have been quarreling for, yes, since a century. She's been sitting in the waiting room for since 11 a.m. Right answers are for, and since. So we use for when we measure time, how much, and we use since with a specific date or time, from when. So when you are quantifying something, the duration, then you use for. And if you are saying that I have been doing it from a particular time period, from when, then you use since. All right. So simple. So this is another, a table on preposition of time and place, usage of at, on, or in. You can go through this table, a very simple table, and try to understand its meaning. Important, I'm good in maths. Yeah, I'm good at maths. Always at, not in. If you're good or bad at something, not in something. Last, modifiers. I really doubt that it will come in exam, but just to make it 25, I have included it. Modifier is a word such as an adjective or adverb that describes another word or changes its meaning in some way. While making sentences, there are a few common type of errors of modifier that we commit. So what we are saying is modifier is simply adjective or adverb. Modifier tells me something about a given word, additional information about a given word. So rule number 23, misplaced modifier. We put modifiers at wrong places. Identify the errors. Andrew told us after the holiday that he intends to stop drinking, right? We will not sell paraffin to anyone in glass bottle. He only eats ice cream. So there are errors in this. Can you identify? What is the problem here? Andrew told us that he intends to stop drinking after the holiday. This is the right usage. We will not sell paraffin in glass bottles to anyone. This is the right usage. He eats only ice cream. This is the right usage, and not he only eats ice cream. Now, what is the difference? See what is happening in the simplest one is the last one. He only eats ice cream. What it means, here the word only is modifying eats. So what does it mean? That he whenever you give ice cream to him, He only eats it. He doesn't throw it away. He doesn't give it to anyone. So eating is the only action that is being performed, but that is not you are trying to convey. Perhaps you are trying to convey that he eats only ice cream, that he doesn't eat anything else but only ice cream. If that is what you are trying to convey, this is the right usage. Very rarely will you try to convey this kind of sentence, but that's how we use it. What is meaning of the second one? So here it is given. We will not sell paraffin to anyone in glass bottle, right? So what is happening here is that this anyone and glass bottle, there is connection between these two. This is wrong. So if I try to draw the meaning of this, what it means is that if anyone comes inside a glass bottle, paraffin will not be given to that person. But that is not what you are trying to say. The glass bottle should have been here next to paraffin, because what you are trying to say is that we will not give paraffin inside a glass bottle if anyone comes to us, right? So this is the second one. Similarly, you can also look at the error in the first one. So that is what we mean by misplaced modifiers. Place it at right place. Second, those is squinting modifier. So squinting means we don't know where the word is looking, where the modifier is looking, to what thing it is referring to. So those that could feasibly modify either of the two things in the sentence. So squinting modifier is quickly. So I don't know what it is trying to say. Talking quickly annoys people. So quickly can refer to talking also. So if you talk quickly, people will get annoyed. Quickly can refer to annoying, annoys also. So talking, if you talk, people will get annoyed quickly. So there are two different meanings coming out here. So I don't know which one are you trying to convey. This is called as a squinting modifier. These are more commonly called squinting modifiers. Last, dangling modifier. This is something which we commit in day-to-day life. A dangling modifier is usually a phrase on an elliptical clause, a dependent clause. Elliptical clause means a dependent clause whose subject and verb are implied rather than expressed. That functions as an adjective but does not modify any specific word in the sentence. Dangling modifier in simple words means sentence without any subject. So without any subject, I don't know to whom the sentence is being referred. So for example, let us look at the first one. Meticulous and punctual. David's work ethic is admirable. So if I look at this sentence, the subject looks like David's work ethic. But can work ethic be punctual? That's not perhaps what I'm trying to say. So it can be replaced. It can be repaired. This sentence can be corrected by placing the subject of modification phrase as the subject of independent clause. So I can replace David's work ethic here by David and reframe the sentence. Meticulous and punctual, David has admirable work ethic. Now I know that David is meticulous and punctual. This meticulous and punctual is now referring to David, but here it was referring to work ethic. So work ethic can't be punctual. So that is the incorrect usage. The other way to correct it is placing it as a part of modifier. Make a simple sentence. David is meticulous and punctual, and his work ethic is admirable. That is another way to look at it. So that is it in this particular video. I know that it would have been long, and I think I have dealt with variety of things. And I hope that you have enjoyed this video thoroughly. Thank you very much.